Hello and welcome to the Built on Air podcast. Built on Air is a regular podcast where we talk with everyday people and learn about the amazing things they are doing with Airtable. Today's podcast is sponsored by OpenSide, the leading solutions provider for Airtable customers. Check out openside.com to learn more about their products and services that can take your Airtable usage to the next level. Use promo code BuiltOnAir to receive $20 towards any product purchase. Today, our host Zoe speaks with Patrick Ford, a media developer at Anderson University in South Carolina. Patrick works in the makerspace of the Center for Innovation in Digital Learning, or CIDL. There, Patrick pulls from his background in several spheres of design and technology to create learning experiences for students and faculty. The base Patrick shares with us today is a makerspace manager used at CIDL to collect and track bookings, users, machines, available spaces, and includes a reservation system to allow participants to take advantage of the resources CIDL offers. Patrick also makes use of Airtable's blocks feature to create an infographic showing the makerspace stats for a given semester.
So this is kind of the basis that we have. I also use it. We use it for course reviews as well in instructional design. So faculty have to do course reviews, especially for online courses. And we track that as well. So it sends out reminders to the faculty and to the instructional designer that's assigned to that course, so that when it's time for that course to be up for review, it automatically sends out a notification to them. So that they can review that particular course.
Awesome.
So that's what the course reviews are. But I'll go into the Makerspace Manager copy here. This is a scrubbed version, obviously. But if we go to bookings here, I've got several different bookings here from this past semester. This is just this semester, and we've had, 389 bookings in one semester.
Nice.
Which is pretty good. And in the infographic, I can show you kind of the increase that we've seen. But
Cool.
How this is set up is we've got, obviously a users table, and they fill this out with just a user registration form. And once they do that, they just do that once. And there's actually a waiver that they have to see and fill out, and that's part of the form as well. I can show you that. So this is the user registration form here, and they just kind of select, they put in their first name and their last name, their email, their role, and then we thought it'd be a good idea to track the majors that are using our the makerspace, so that we know to reach out to one college or another for those that may not be engaged yet. So we have a waiver checkbox, kind of a digital signature kind of thing. And then they can upload a profile picture that just kind of helps us put a name with a face there. We also have a machines and spaces tab here, where we've got all of our machines listed that they can reserve. And also the number of bookings in total that each machine has reserved within a given time period, which is obviously set up here. And the main kind of bread and butter of it is this reservation table here. Underneath here, we've got the reservation form, which is actually embedded on our website directly. So it asks who is using the space of the machine, and they can go in and basically choose their name here. The one thing that I don't like about that is that people can technically choose another person.
Right.
It hasn't happened yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
Right. They're like, oh, I don't feel like creating a new user. I'll just use so-and-so's.
Yes.
Oh.
So that is something that we're trying to think about. Obviously can't submit passwords or anything like that through Airtable. So we're trying to, think about how to make that a little bit more robust.
Mm-hmm.
They would select what machine they're wanting to use, and then when they would like to use it. So they would select that, and for how long. And this is just a duration field. And then this notes thing, actually, I have an IntegraMat integration that basically, if this is filled in, that comes directly to my email and to the student worker's email, so that we know to meet them back in the makerspace to help them with whatever it is that they're working on.
Cool.
And then over here, the website, the calendar is also embedded on the website as well. So you can see this is actually the last week of school here. I'll go to the week view here. And so students actually, they look at this and they kind of see which spaces are open. And then they'll fill out the machine reservation form based off of this data, except I think the one on the website is actually just a 3-day view. And a lot of people ask about double bookings, which we've actually eliminated using IntegraMat via a series of like filters and things like that. If it's the same person, it's going to allow them to double book. But if the person is different and the machine is the same and it's the same time, or the times, overlap in any way, it'll basically delete that reservation and send them an email that says, hey, this reservation's no good. Go back and look at the calendar and select another time.
Cool.
But yeah, that's kind of the basics of it, of the Airtable, at least. The IntegraMat integration, this is, if you've never seen, if the viewers have never seen IntegraMat, this is kind of the dashboard. These are our course review notifications. This is the notes one that I just mentioned, where if they need help, it sends it to me. And then this is our reservation integration right here. And it looks kind of convoluted, and it kind of is. It wasn't a quick thing to set up, I'm not going to lie, but it's a whole lot easier than having to code your own massive app.
Absolutely.
Which I'm not a coder. And I tell people that I don't know any code. I don't know a coding language. I kind of know some basic syntax of how things should go together. But if I can do this, anybody can do this. I'm pretty confident about that.
Right on.
But based off of different criteria, these filters here, each reservation, this is the trigger right here, and each reservation goes a different route based on different criteria. So if somebody is changing their reservation from the email, it's going to go this way. If they've canceled it from the email, it's going to go this way. If it's a double booking, or I'm sorry, if it's canceled, it's going to go this way. If it's a double booking, it's going to go this way. And if it's a good booking and everything checks out, it just goes right on through and it sends them a confirmation email. I would encourage people, if you want to use it, feel free to go on the website and just test it out and see. You can get an email just like everybody else. I'd be happy to have anybody come over and check it out.
Cool. Yeah, that's really awesome. I wish I were like a little bit closer to you so I could go ahead and check out the makerspace. It just sounds like such a cool, also your job too, because you kind of it sounds like you get to spend some time, right, doing workshops, hanging out with students, being on the floor. And then also you get to step back and do, really cool stuff like this, where you're kind of thinking logically about, what do we need to offer people? What kind of experience do we need to bring them through our systems to make that, smooth and not annoying. So this is just really cool. And show us your infographic, please. I would love to see.
Yeah, I'd love to show you that. Actually, I guess I'll show you this first. This is our website. I actually just finished redesigning it this week.
Congratulations!
It's brand new. Thank you. Yes, it's been a task. But under spaces here, I would encourage anybody to go check this out. All the information about our department is on there. Kind of what we do. But under spaces here, under the makerspace, you can kind of you can't make it to campus to kind of check things out. There's the policy and the waiver, registering as a user, and then there's all the different tools that are available to students, where they can reserve it or get training on how to use it. So there's that, and then also underneath here is the reservation page, and this is kind of what this looks like. This takes them to a new user registration. We've got an FAQ here, which I'm still building out. And then this is the calendar that I was talking about. So they're able to kind of check and scroll through and find a date that works best for them. Mm-hmm. You can see that I think April is free. Yeah, so this is April, just 1 week in April.
Oh, wow.
So quite a few reservations there. And then once they kind of find the slot that works best for them, they'll just go down here and fill out the reservation form. and hit submit, and it sends them an email. But that's what it looks like on the website. The infographic, let me see if I can switch. Let me switch what I'm sharing here. So the infographic looks kind of like this. We've got stats, and all of this is pulled from the blocks feature of Airtable, which I absolutely love. Like, the blocks feature is just fantastic. The one thing that I don't like about the blocks feature is that it's not embeddable. You can't take those views and then, export them as PNGs or export them as HTML code and embed it on a website.
Right.
Hopefully that'll come. But
I think they, like, now you can embed blocks, but I think it gives users access to the entire base, and it's like, not to put a nice infographic on my website.
Yes.
So I totally agree. Like, you're like, this is really great, let me put it in all of the other formats that I need this information to be into.
Yes. But the blocks are great for having that data and gathering that data.
Absolutely.
And so that's where these graphs come from. So these are just from this past semester, and you can see that the new users over time for our makerspace has increased. So in fall of 2017, we didn't really have any users because we weren't measuring anything. And in spring, we added, I think this is like 54 or something like that, new users. Fall of 18, we added, it's kind of gone up exponentially. And this year, I think we added 102
Wow.
new users. So I think this was 72 last semester and 102. And that's not total amount of users. That's how many we added that semester.
Right on.
And this is kind of a breakdown of users by major. So we've got, education, interior design, theater, and art. Those are kind of our department, our colleges that I know have specific projects revolving around the makerspace. And we just started tracking this semester, so I'm really curious to see what happens as different courses are offered throughout different semesters.
Awesome.
These are kind of our overall user demographics here. So 88% of our users are students and 8% are faculty. And then the other 4% are either staff, like me, I'm a staff member, or other, like former students or district partners, people like that. We have 228 total users. This is kind of a breakdown of reservations by machine and space. I will make a note here that the Oculus Rifts, we have 2 of those, and those are kind of lumped together. So this is kind of not really comparable with the rest of the machines there. But these are the top performers. All the rest had 10 or less reservations. And then the most reservations, we had a student who he reserved had 27 reservations in one semester, so he was quite the busy bee.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He loved it. He loved it. So I think we might have to offer him like a student worker position before long, because
Right, you're like, you spent so much time here anyway. Would you have to get paid for it? Okay, cool.
We had 27. A little over 2,700 hours of total reservation time. So this is the combination of all time reserved for machines. And then, like I said, 102 new users there. But Airtable is fantastic. I love it for gathering this kind of data, and we can use it for, any number of things. And it helps our case that we can present this data and say, people are using the space. And not only are they using it, but we're adding, it's exponentially growing in usage as well. So.
Right. Absolutely. And it's just like you mentioned, really easy too, then if, you get a new machine or there's another facet that you want to track, Airtable is just so flexible to add that stuff in there,
Absolutely.
Start collecting data on it. And I think that is really also the great thing about Airtable is you can make, more polished looking things like this. And then if you just want some quick and dirty stats, you can, even just do groupings within a table, right? And see the total. So it really is super flexible and functional, just for you being in it, looking at data, and then also, presenting it at a higher level, like is like you have here. Very cool. Now I'm like, I wish I had a maker space when I went to school. This just seems like such a cool program that you guys have going on.
Yes, it's been well received, and I hope that we can continue to grow it. We've been able to purchase new equipment and all that kind of stuff year over year. So it's, from what I understand, we're kind of an anomaly in the liberal arts institution grouping, because very few liberal arts colleges actually have a makerspace, and those that do, theirs is definitely not as big as ours is. So we're very fortunate in that regard.
Well, thank you so much, Patrick, for chatting with us about all of the cool machines you have going on, and like all of the weird and interesting opportunities that you're giving everyone, and then also your beautiful Airtable base and Infographic, right? It was such a pleasure to chat with you, and best of luck with CIDL moving forward as you guys continue to grow.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on. I was excited to be a part of it.